true, baby. Listen up. Ed leans back in his John Deere cap. Says I don't chase clicks, I just chase facts. Got a Bible by the mic, small town on his back. Reads every line before he hits that track. Ronnie in the booth with a notepad full. Cross on his chain, hard, humble but full. We ain't here to judge, just talk what's real. Taste every word before we serve that meal. Red, white, and true. We stand on what we do. Gotta taste your words before you say them. Cause the truth cuts clean when you lay it. Red, white, and true. We pray on what we choose. If you don't line up with his view, we don't spread it. Red, white, and true. Rolling that feed, everybody want flame. Pointing at a headline, never read a whole page. It says slow down, son, check that source. Every tongue got power. Pick your course. Ronnie takes a breath, says a quiet prayer. Lord, guard my mouth, let me keep it fair. We talk faith, talk flash, talk the hard news too. But we weigh each word like it's aimed at you. Hey, hey, red, white, and true. We stand on what we do. Gotta taste your word before you say them. Cause the truth cuts clean when you lay it. Red, white, and true. We pray on what we choose. If it don't line up with his view, we don't spread it. Red, white, and true. We ain't perfect, just forgive it. Trying to walk it out, not just talk opinion. You can disagree, pull up a seat, that's fine. But we keep it in grace when we draw that line. Hey, 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 red, white, and true. We stand on what we do. Gotta taste your words before you say them. Cause the truth cuts clean when you lay it. Red, white, and true. We pray on what we choose. If it don't line up with his view, we don't spread it. Red, white, and true.
All right, red, white, and true is where we're at. Uh, we're still getting used to some new overlays and things like that. Hope you like the new look. What's going on, Ronnie?
Not much. Not much. Glad to be home. Been a long day.
So, you know, there's some things to talk about, but as I was going through things, outside of Iran and just, you know, other things that would probably be considered minor, there's not a lot going on today.
Not really. Trump had his medical exam. JFK Jr. caught some snakes. I've got stuff on that. Big news
There
about
is
the
a
war
big
in Ukraine. I guess Putin got a hold of Donald Trump and said, get Americans out of Kiev. And I got a video on that too.
Oh, wow. Well, goodness. Big election in Texas, runoff election. They've already had their primary, but in several races, no one got 50%, and it's a state where that's a requirement. And so the big race is Paxson versus Cornyn, and Trump has thrown his support behind Paxson, and we'll see how that turns out later tonight. Get us started, Ronnie.
Well, let's see here. So over the weekend, well, just yesterday was Memorial Day, and of course, on Memorial Day, I see something this disgusting that makes me want to puke.
I just want to say that every time I see this, I just think racist. And it's really sad because I don't want to think that. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah, so to that woman, the American flag is racist, apparently. Way to go. Apparently.
Well, I've got something that I put together yesterday for tonight. So it's about Memorial Day, a day after. So let's go with this.
Today, America pauses, not for backyard cookouts not for a long weekend, but to remember. We remember the men and women who never came home. Brave Americans who stood in places far from home, who carried our flag into danger, and who gave their lives so freedom could live on. Every cross in a military cemetery, every folded flag, every name engraved in stone tells the story of sacrifice. Freedom has always carried a cost, and today we honor those who paid it in full. As Americans, we remember. As Christians, we give thanks. Jesus said in John 15:13, "Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." Today we honor heroes. We honor families who carried loss. We honor a generation willing to sacrifice everything. May we never take freedom for granted. May we never forget. And may God continue to bless the United States of America. Now go out and do the right thing.
And so I've got
Nice.
a little bit of editing corrections to do, or improvements for the next time I do something like that. But Memorial Day is probably the most misunderstood holiday that we have. And Trevor right now is going, here he goes. And I always have to make this comment, whether it be Veterans Day or Memorial Day. There are three different holidays when it comes to military. There is Armed Forces Day, there is Veterans Day, and there is Memorial Day. And we'll go in the order that I just said. Armed Forces Day is for those who are currently serving, not veterans, not the Memorial Day, but those that are currently serving. Then there's Veterans Day. That's all of us who have served in the past, but who now are no longer active duty. That's a veteran. And then Memorial Day is for those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And we had 13 recently that gave that ultimate sacrifice in the conflict in Iran. Those are the heroes, and that is what Memorial Day is for. I get frustrated when I see videos like what Ronnie just played, and I got something I wanted to read from. I'm not even going to say who it's from, because I wouldn't want this person to get any clicks or anything like that. It says this: Memorial Day reminder that patriotism is wanting veterans housed, fed, medically cared for, and mentally supported, not just posting flag emojis once a year. Actually, Memorial Day is about none of those. And so I guess if you're going to try to slam people who are patriotic, you really ought to educate yourself on the subject that you're slamming people on, or else you look like you have no clue and that you're stupid. And so that's where I put that person, in that they're stupid. You see, a lot of liberals, and I'm going to narrow it down, especially in the millennial age group, like to put patriotism down, as in a bad thing. They use the term Christian nationalist, and I've talked about that in the past. And I'm not going to go into it here, but they use it as a derogatory term, as in that Christian nationalists think of country first. If you're a true Christian, then you put God first. And in that way of looking at things, it would be God, country, and then person. And so for those that like to use the slam about patriots and patriotism, and the chick that was just on there, actually your mother says that wasn't a woman. Where red, white, and blue nauseates you or makes you want to make ugly faces, then I don't know what to tell you other than you're wrong and stupid.
Get out.
Well, that's a true statement, but it's never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen. So.
Right, too easy. Too easy here.
Boy, you ain't lying about that.
Right. So continue talking about Memorial Day. This is you got something? Go ahead.
Oh, I'll get mine set up.
I just had President Trump and Vice President Vance at Memorial Day. It's kind of odd though, looking at their hands, which one was in the military and which one was not. Looking at their salute.
Well, I have actually another instance of them saluting that I'll share from yesterday. Oh, what do you think? What's that make come into your mind?
Well, after years of being in band and playing the Star Spangled Banner at every football game and every marching competition, it's kind of hard not to see the music in my head when I hear the Star Spangled Banner, but that is what it is.
Well, I could hear the bass drum in the background real well.
Yeah. But other than that, all presidents do that. it's an unfortunate thing with like Joe Biden and Obama. I didn't believe them when they stood there with their hand over their hearts or saluted, something like that. I didn't believe them. It was almost like it was you're an actor putting on a show kind of thing. But
And Bill and Tanya had a word of encouragement for those that think patriotism is a bad thing.
yep, pack your bags. Sayonara.
Anything else for Memorial Day?
I have this one labeled Memorial Day, but I don't remember what it is because I had it on here on last Saturday.
It's not enjoy the long weekend. It's I thank God for my life, for the stars and stripes, may freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love.
That's right. That was posted by the White House.
Well,
Let's see here. So that was Monday. We're gonna talk about the Indy 500 on Sunday.
Sure.
All right. This is the honor guard. I thought this was pretty cool there at the beginning.
Fire party. Halt. Order. Halt. Right. Face. Stand by. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Set. Halt.
Yes, they did do well. I'm not a huge race fan, and I didn't find anything about it until I talked to you, Ed. But I went back and watched it, and you were right. It was a fantastic final lap.
Be ready here. You ready? Green, 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 green. Clear by 2-0 back. Inside. Clear. Inches two. Clear by 4, 2 by 2 behind you. Side by side behind, 2 back. Still side by side behind. 1 back. One back. Taken with you. And your gearbox. Outside. Clear.
I've seen it from both cars, and if you're not understanding what happened, that car that was there was in the lead until like the last microsecond, and that other guy just blew right past him right there at the finish line. So
It was like point 223 or something like that, tenths of a second. Closest finish in the history, and that's a long history. They've been doing the Indy 500 for a long time.
It was definitely a photo finish.
You know that guy's got to be kicking himself. I was that close to kissing the bricks.
Yeah. And I don't know what it was, if that other car just had some kind of air wind gust behind it or something, but man, he just blasted right past him there. I mean, right there at the end. So that was pretty cool. Well, that was cool. I did find this video, and I'm still trying to figure out if it's real or not. Unfortunately, I can kind of see it being real.
Hi, my name is Ryan, and my parents never taught me how babies were made. But this is what I think happens based on just different context clues I picked up on across my life. I think that the birds are the men and that bees are the women. Because I think this is what happens. Basically, to make a kid, a woman needs to connect with a man and she'll start to sweat this honey, like honey substance, from all around her skin. And the man, the bird, needs to lick all the honey and drink all the honey from the woman's body. And once there's no honey left, the woman will be left pregnant. There's a lot of other things that point to this, like the fact that people need like privacy to make a baby, because obviously you're gonna need to take your clothes off to get all the honey. Obviously, there's other things. Lesbians drink pee. Gay people eat poop. That's pretty self-explanatory. There's also how old people get pregnant less. That makes sense too, because you'd need, like, if you had wrinkles, it would be harder to get all the honey out of your skin.
I can't tell if that guy's serious or not. I mean, how could you say all that stuff without breaking a laugh or a smile, anything? I couldn't do it.
Where in the world did you come up with that? Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, my TikTok feed, I don't know what's wrong with my algorithm, but I get some really strange stuff on there. So,
well, yes, you did.
It goes from drum corps to police shootings to weird stuff like that. I don't get it.
Your mom didn't either. Just while it's on my mind, it's not in my notes or anything. There was actually a police shooting today in Indiana. A state trooper pulled a car over, called for backup. It was almost right on the Indiana-Illinois border, up near, of course, Chicago, which there was 25 shootings. Yeah, shootings. I'm not sure how many deaths in that 25, but there were 25 shootings in Chicago over the Memorial Day weekend. The officers opened fire and killed the person that actually shot the police officer in the chest. He is in, I think, stable condition is what I read. And just a traffic stop. Just a traffic. I guess there is no just a traffic stop, is there?
No, not really.
Well, let's talk Iran for a second. You got any videos on Iran, or?
I've got stuff on Iran. I sure do.
All right. Well,
let's see here. All right. This is them talking diplomacy, I believe.
While it looked like diplomacy was working just yesterday, the war in Iran escalated significantly overnight, with the U.S. military launching new strikes. According to Central Command, the U.S. targeted missile launchers in southern Iran and destroyed Iranian ships attempting to place mines in the Persian Gulf, claiming they were threatening American forces. CENTCOM said the strikes were done in self-defense and with restraint. Iran's Revolutionary Guard quickly responded, saying it considers its right to reciprocal response both legitimate and certain, adding it fired at an American jet and drones that entered Iranian airspace. This latest escalation could jeopardize the most significant diplomatic push yet to end the 3-month war with Iran. Secretary of State Rubio, speaking after the U.S. military attacks, suggested peace talks are not over.
I think there's strong alignment and agreement on what a preliminary draft should look like. It's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word.
But President Trump is now adding a major new condition, writing that as part of the Iran deal, he expects all countries that took part in negotiations to make full peace with Israel. That is likely to be a major sticking point for many Middle Eastern and Islamic nations.
Kind of a weird curveball there at the end, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Pakistan, for one, is going to have a huge problem with that. And even though that there was indications that maybe that this would take place, I don't think they're going to want to be forced into it, and that would be Saudi Arabia. So I don't know. Then the diplomatic process, is I guess the word I'm looking for, just seems to change daily. And well, the president had actually scheduled a complete cabinet meeting at Camp David. That got postponed because of bad weather at Camp David. But, well, postponed into that they're going to do it at the White House instead of Camp David. That doesn't happen very often. 15 times, I think, during his first 4 years that he had the cabinet meet at Camp David. Usually before something major is going to take place. I believe I read today that before we bombed Iran the first time, when we used the bunker busters and went after their nuke facilities, that they had a cabinet meeting there just a few days before that happened. So in addition to what we just read, the Iran conflict remains tense, with fresh U.S.-Iran exchanges reported today. Obviously, we heard what Marco Rubio said. The situation is also spilling into the broader region, with fighting continuing in Lebanon against Hezbollah, a major Iran-backed force, and concern growing over the Strait of Hormuz disruption. I seen from CENTCOM that Iran had said that the U.S. had restarted escorting ships. The way CENTCOM handles that, they call it fact check. And when they do a fact check, Iran is always wrong. Go figure that.
Right.
You know, the term ceasefire, I'm not even sure that ever holds any weight, but there is officially a ceasefire in Lebanon between Israel and the Lebanese government, but Hezbollah is not part of the Lebanese government. And so they're continuing on with the things that they do, like shooting missiles into northern Israel. And so what else do you have on Iran?
Well, they were talking a deal being close, and this comes from Iranian point of view.
New overnight, Iran is insisting a deal is not close. An Iranian foreign ministry spokesperson said negotiations are focused only on an end to the war, and they're not currently discussing nuclear issues. A U.S. official had said Iran would agree in principle to dispose of its enriched uranium and could receive sanctions relief in return.
We're going to give diplomacy every chance to succeed before we explore the alternatives.
On Sunday, a senior Trump administration official had said a potential deal between the U.S. and Iran would be a two-step process. First, Iran would reopen the Strait of Hormuz. In exchange, the U.S. would lift its blockade on Iranian ports. The move's aimed at easing oil and gas prices.
The bottom line is, once the straits are open, then the tankers are going to go back.
But senators from both parties said an end to Iran's nuclear program is key to any deal.
When you're digging a hole, you should stop digging. That's what this agreement sounds like.
Some lawmakers and Trump allies remain critical, including his former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who said it was not remotely America first. On Truth Social, the president hit back. It isn't even fully negotiated yet, so don't listen to the losers.
The idea that somehow this president, given everything he's already proven he's willing to do, is going to somehow agree to a deal that ultimately winds up putting Iran in a stronger position when it comes to nuclear ambitions is absurd. That's just not going to happen.
Well, the president has said he doesn't want to rush a deal. He told CBS News that negotiators were getting closer, adding, "I will only sign a deal where we get everything we want." This morning, Secretary Rubio made it clear that if talks with Iran fail, other options to end the war could be explored.
There's a different kind of a point of view there.
Confusing. To say the least, it is confusing.
Very much so.
You know, and so confusing in that my opinion almost changes multiple times a day. So I think maybe what I will do is quit giving my opinion on what I think will happen. I may give my opinion on what I want to happen. Done that many times. I want us to bomb the Revolutionary Guard into the Stone Age, is what I want. The president has shown that he wants to give diplomacy every shot that can be made. I heard a person today talking about, you know, he always wants to make a deal, but this person said there's sometimes you just can't make a deal.
Oh yeah.
And I believe that Iran is one that you can't make a deal with. Not one that benefits everybody.
No.
Not one that benefits everybody.
So we can go from the Iran war to the Russian-Ukrainian war. Now, I'm probably not going to let this guy play the whole time. He's notorious for dropping the F-bomb, but he's got some pretty good information.
What's up, America? President Putin of Russia has contacted Donald Trump, warning him to get all Americans out of Kiev, Ukraine immediately. Apparently, the Russian government wanted to make sure that Americans were not harmed. And so Vladimir Putin is telling the United States to get all Americans and diplomats out of Kiev before they launch prolonged and systemic attacks against the city. The Russian government is saying that these attacks coming up will be, quote, catastrophic, and they don't want American citizens or American diplomats or government officials to be killed by these attacks that are supposedly coming very soon. And so that was very nice.
So that guy usually has some pretty good sources and stuff, and I could see that actually happening. Now, I know Russia was quite upset with Ukraine because they sent those 20 drones and whatnot deep into Russia.
Yeah, deep into Russia.
It's still hairy situation there. That was one I honestly hoped that Donald Trump was going to get rid of. You know, he was, supposed to be shutting down all these wars. Well, that was one he didn't shut down.
Well, that one was supposed to be done on day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately. Well, the chemical deal in Orange County had a follow-up in another state, and not related to it, but I see you have a chemical explosion video.
I do. Yeah, so this would be the second chemical explosion.
Now, we do have some other breaking news to get to here. This from our colleagues in Seattle, Fox 13 in Seattle, saying a major chemical explosion injured multiple people at the Nippon plant in Longview on Tuesday morning, triggering a massive emergency response that has forced officials to close off the surrounding industrial area. And we have footage here, a live look of this area right now. Not a lot of action that we can see right there, but obviously when you hear about a chemical explosion injuring multiple people, that obviously sends off a very high alert, especially when there's a massive emergency response that's going along with it that has forced officials to close off the surrounding industrial area. So we're still awaiting more information here. I actually have a web article on this. I'll pull this up real quick and read some of it off to you, saying this. Here's the brief from Fox 13. Emergency crews are on the scene of a major chemical explosion at the Nippon plant in Longview that occurred Tuesday morning. Firefighters and hazardous material teams are working to stabilize the site and prevent further secondary blasts. Officials report that multiple people have been injured, and authorities are urging residents to completely avoid Industrial Way and the surrounding area while the active emergency response continues. So you hear it there. Emergency officials saying if you are in the Washington, especially Seattle area, avoid this area at all costs and do not go anywhere near it if you can. Now we do have some other breaking news to get to here. This from our colleague.
Too quick to click, I guess.
Interesting. You don't hear about chemical explosions very often, and
now we've had two.
And I mentioned conspiracy theories back on Saturday, and I'll just leave it where I left it then. Who knows? The one in there's plenty.
Oh, there's plenty. Oh, there are plenty conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah. The one that we covered Saturday, Orange County in California, the officials there said that the threat of a massive explosion at the Garden Grove chemical tank has been eliminated after an overnight operation, which is a major step forward. Even so, they stress the crisis is not over. A smaller leak or a smaller explosion is still possible, and crews are continuing overnight mitigation work and temperature monitoring. Evacuation orders have been cut back significantly, with about 16,000 people still affected after nearly 50,000 were originally ordered out. Governor Newsom asked for a federal emergency declaration, and President Trump approved the request for the Orange County incident. That approval allows FEMA and other federal resources to support the response, including air monitoring and plume modeling. So, not out of the woods, but way better than what it could have been.
For sure. For sure.
Well, I read a little bit about that overnight operation, and it almost sounded like a military operation, even though it wasn't. It was tactical firefighters that I believe that were volunteers to do it because it was so dangerous that they actually didn't know what was going to take place.
Really?
And yeah, it was like a tactical fire operation, which seemed very interesting.
Sounds like fun.
Well, I see that you have a video about President Trump and his physical today. His post said, "Just finished my 6-month physical at Walter Reed Military Medical Center. Everything checked out and in all caps perfectly. Thank you to the great doctors and staff." Headed back to the White House, President DJT. So let's look at the video.
President Trump's health is also taking center stage today. He just got a physical exam today at Walter Reed Medical Center, and it was for what the White House called a routine medical and dental checkup. It is his third visit in 13 months, putting a spotlight on the president's physical well-being ahead of his 80th birthday next month.
The president and the White House have said that the bruising in the president's hands are due to him using aspirin as a blood thinner. They say that he shakes a lot of hands, and so that bruising does not signify by any health issue, but certainly just shy of his 80th birthday here next month. His checkup today at Walter Reed raised a lot of questions, but the president just posted a short time ago. He's back here at the White House. He said that today's checkup went perfectly and that he thanked the doctors and staff.
'80th birthday next month.
Well, I have a comment. Those bruises were from several months ago, and it was only fitting that it was NBC that included that in today's report.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like a story from over 6 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because he had said he banged his hand on a table or something, and the shaking hands and all that just bruised it. But yeah, that's not new. That's like you said, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was way back. Let me go with some election news from a couple of different places. We'll get to the Texas runoffs from today, but there is a battle that is brewing in Los Angeles for the mayor of Los Angeles. It's shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable political showdowns in decades, and it is catching the attention of conservatives nationwide. Incumbent Democratic Mayor Karen Bass, who initially expected a smooth path to re-election, is facing massive blowback over her administration's handling of the city's crises. Between a ballooning structural deficit, rising crime, and heavily criticized response to the devastating Southern California wildfires, voters are visibly frustrated. Recent polling shows a staggering 40% of likely voters remain completely undecided just 2 weeks before the nonpartisan primary, leaving City Hall wide open for a major shakeup. Basically, everybody that's running there's no primaries to narrow it down to 2. It is all in one big nonpartisan primary. The big news.
Real quick, I got to call out. I got to call out. I'll be right back.
Okay. The big news is that. Let's see what I can do here. I see. Let's see if that works. Nope, cuts my head off. Let's take everything off and let's put a background on. And let's do this. Or this. Okay, back to the mayor's runoff the mayor race in Los Angeles. The biggest wild card, Spencer Pratt, running as a registered Republican in a city that hasn't elected a GOP mayor since 1993. He's surged into second place, positioning himself as the primary conservative challenger. For audiences who only know him from his past, Pratt was the ultimate reality television villain in the mid-2000s, rose to fame on MTV's hit show The Hills, and was known for generating relentless tabloid drama. Today, the 42-year-old Southern California native and USC political science graduate has pivoted from Hollywood antagonist to a blunt populist community advocate. His political awakening came after his home in the Pacific Palisades was completely destroyed in last year's fires, a disaster he squarely blames on the failed emergency management of the city's progressive leadership. Despite running in an overwhelmingly blue city, Pratt's unapologetic anti-bureaucracy message is resonating with residents who feel abandoned by California's ruling class. If he can maintain the momentum that he has through the primary, he will force a high-stakes head-to-head November runoff against Karen Bass. So I was wrong about what I said in the it's not a winner take all here. It is a primary to narrow it down to 2, but not necessarily by party. So wouldn't that be interesting if there was a Republican mayor in Los Angeles? And then let's go to Texas. The big race is for the U.S. Senate GOP nomination. 4-term incumbent Senator John Cornyn faces a powerhouse challenge from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Neither hit the 50% mark back in March in the primary, forcing tonight's runoff. What's at stake is a battle for the soul of the Texas GOP. Cornyn represents the traditional party base, while Paxton carries the hardline conservative banner and has the backing of Donald Trump. Recent polling shows neck and neck, making this the most watched primary in the country tonight. Also, Attorney General in Texas, because Paxton is running for the Senate. His job as Attorney General is wide open. Lieutenant Governor, that race is up as well. And let's see, I thought there was one more. For Attorney General on the Republican side, State Senator Mays Middleton going head-to-head with U.S. Representative Chip Roy. Chip Roy is in the news quite a bit as oh, I was a little bitty square in the corner. Don't have to leave?
No, dead rabbit. Don't deal with rabbits.
Dead rabbit.
Another stupid call. In the history of stupid calls.
Huh. Well.
Oh well.
Poor little rabbit.
There's no way to prove it's domesticated or wild, so no, we're not going. No, we're not going. Definitely don't deal with rabbits, and we definitely don't deal with snakes. This was RFK Jr. today. I've seen one video about it. This is actually the White House's take.
I don't with you. You little stupid and wow. Game with you. You little dumb man. Wow. I ain't with you. I got a million trillion things I'd rather do.
I like that guy.
Do you have any
What's that?
Do you have any background on that? Why he was messing with 2 snakes?
So the entire video, and I couldn't show it because there's somebody in the background and they have a foul mouth, but he walks up and he grabs these snakes and he turns around and his wife's telling him just drop them and leave them alone. And whoever that was running the camera, I assume, was saying that thing's biting you. Just drop it. It's biting you. It's biting you. And sure enough, if you look, it spins around and bites him. And he, at one point, he even looks at it and he goes, "Oh yeah, it bit me." I think the female in the background, I'm assuming his wife, said something about it being water moccasins. And he goes, "They're not water moccasins. They're black snakes. Not me, man."
Yeah.
I don't think I'd pick up 2 of them and show them off.
Well, you mentioned that you were called over a dead rabbit, and there you go. Your mom's right on it. So while you were away, I talked about Pratt running in L.A.
Yes,
Now,
I wish I had one of the pictures of his campaign signs. Have you seen that, where he takes a piece of clear plastic and it's got stuff written out on it, and they power wash on the sidewalk, and it says, "Imagine the city being this clean. Vote Spencer Pratt."
I did see that. I did. I'd forgotten until you brought it up, but yeah, I saw. What do you think? I mean, he's from your era.
He was on some reality show. I don't know. I don't really care for reality shows, but I mean, I thought he was from a little bit before my era, actually.
Well, I think it said he was in his 40s.
Yeah, before my era. We'll go.
Yeah,
with
there
that.
you go.
But anyways, we'll go with that. But anyways, I'd love to see a Republican mayor of LA. I don't think there ever has been one.
In the story, it was since 93 was the last time there was a
93. Wow. Okay. I was third grade, man. But yeah, I don't think unfortunately, I don't think we'll see it in our lifetimes. LA's too blue.
Yeah, when it gets down to November.
Yeah.
Unless something really bad happens to where everybody is up in arms, like they were over the fire response, and so we'll see.
Yep.
I just noticed, and I don't know why I just noticed, but the water that's running in your background is pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, it just popped up, and I selected it. It's actually kind of, I don't know if you can hear the sound, but it was going to make me want to pee after about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's the water rushing. But so we can go from one blue city to another. This is in New York City.
Through our new citywide campaign, Fix the City, we will focus on the worst landlords in New York City. When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves. The third core plank of our plan is years overdue. We will deliver the transformative investments that public housing has long needed, but not received.
State-sponsored housing. That's how you get state-sponsored housing.
What a smug, pompous, you fill in the blank. I mean, smiling and grinning about his own one-liners that are written obviously just to get an applause, not to mean anything.
Oh yeah. But yeah, him stopping in his goofy smile, I'd like to smack it off with a brick.
Yeah, I'm just going to agree with you. Yeah.
So I got something on the Pope. This is him talking out against AI.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity. Artificial intelligence already touches many areas of our lives and affects decisions that shape human coexistence. It is also dramatically changing how war is waged. Like the earlier Leo, I feel entrusted to look upon another huge transformation with eyes of faith, with lucidity of reason, with openness to mystery, and with cries of the poor and the earth resounding in my heart.
I can see where he's coming from. AI is, you want Terminators? That's how we get Terminators.
I always go back to AI is just like everything else. In the hands of good people, it is very good. And in the hands of bad people, it is not just very bad, but it is alarming. And I don't know how you fix that. I know that there's been proposals of not AI police, but overseers. I think the AI companies themselves would like to see some things happen that would, keep what you just mentioned from happening. You know, so I don't know how that's going to take place. I was thinking about this yesterday, AI, and we heard about it for a reasonable length of time, and then it just exploded. And, so many different AI companies, Google is going to pretty much totally change their search engine into something from Gemini, I think, to where, and I'm sure most people have noticed, if you Google something, you get an AI generated response first. Then it'll go down and give you some links after that. But, I've admitted many times, and it's not an admission, just an acknowledgement, that I use AI for different things. Actually, the video I put together, the video itself wasn't put together by AI, but the script and the pictures were all selected by AI. I was hoping to put the whole thing together, but it was more than what my AI program would be able to do, because I tried real hard to get it to do it instead of me having to do it.
Right.
Well, let's look at the West Point graduation that you have there.
Yeah. So I don't know if I showed a video on Saturday about a graduation or not, but this is West Point's graduation. I didn't get a chance to play it Saturday.
The battlefield does not grade on a curve, and you can't throw your pronouns at the enemy. Our diversity is our strength. The single dumbest phrase in military history. Diversity is not our strength. Unity is our strength. The call is send us, not send he, not send she, not send they, them. You are not an army of one. And you are certainly not an army of woke. You are fit, not fat. You are disciplined, not distracted. We saw woke and weak leaders trying to make West Point look like woke Princeton. They embraced the DEI craze and tried to introduce diversity and inclusion studies. And they hired professors who advocated for anti-American ideologies right here in these halls. But no more. Social engineering and woke ideology are fine for Harvard. Silly, but fine. On the battlefield, there is no place for them. You will not see color, and you will not try to meet arbitrary quotas based on immutable characteristics. You do not have time to celebrate identity months, and you will not make excuses for yourselves, and you will not accept excuses from others. You will lead.
Oh,
It's a
have
great
I
speech.
ever mentioned that I
Oh,
love Pete Hegseth?
maybe once or twice. Maybe once or twice.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah. He went a little hard on the they thems and pronouns and trannies and stuff like that. He went a little hard on them, but that was a very great speech. I wish I could have seen it in its entirety.
Keep rolling.
All
Keep on
right.
rolling. How
Let's
about the
see here.
autopsy? The DNC autopsy. That's an
This
interesting story.
is the DNC's autopsy report of Kamala Harris's failed attempt.
Well, 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 we've been waiting for this. The DNC finally releasing its autopsy report on the 2024 presidential election. DNC Chair Ken Martin writing, "I am not proud of this product. It does not meet my standards, and it won't meet your standards. I don't endorse what's in this report or what's left out of it." Shannon Bream is the anchor of Fox News Sunday. She joins us now. So this just happened. Why do you think he thinks that it does? Well, do you know why it doesn't meet his standards or why he thinks people will be disappointed?
Well, we're going through what CNN says is this report. We haven't verified it independently, but it's got all kinds of notations on it that are apparently the DNC's objections or questions that it had. And Ken Martin says he initially didn't release this after he had commissioned it because there wasn't source material. They felt there were issues with it and they wanted to see more, pull more together before they'd release it. And then he said after we had, some success in these special elections and other things, I didn't want to release it because I thought it would be a distraction. Then I realized it was a distraction not releasing it. So CNN says it's gotten its hands on this thing and what they're purporting that it is. It talks about a lot of different things in here. They say Democrats have lost ground at every level from inconsistent messaging and improper planning. They talk about funding and not equipping their state parties. And, the document I'm looking at goes on a deep dive through a number of state races, down to the attorney general level, and looking at where things matched and didn't match with messaging and voting. And they said, in some of these cases that you couldn't just have a message that we're anti-Trump. We hate President Trump or he's not good for us. He's not good for the country. You have to have your own independent messaging. So it's nearly 200 pages. We're starting to dig through it and would like to independently verify it ourselves as well.
I didn't think about it, but she's right. They didn't run on a campaign of this is what we're going to do and this is what we're going to help fix the country. They ran on a campaign of Trump's bad, Orange Man bad.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this Saturday. They don't have an answer to anything.
No.
And that is still true today. Well, I just pulled this up looking at what's trending on X, and Vice President J.D. Vance hosted about 15 Republican state attorneys general at the Eisenhower Executive Office building to showcase early successes from the White House task force to eliminate fraud, which he is the chairman of. In 2 months, the group referred over $22 billion in fraudulent small business loans for collection, deferred $1.3 billion in improper Medicaid payments, mainly from California, blocked $60 million in student aid scams, and spurred over 450 charges nationwide. Now get this, nearly 24 Democratic AGs skipped the event, citing short notice and lack of an agenda after a Friday invitation with a Saturday RSVP. Despite Vance's push for bipartisanship on tackling waste that hurts taxpayers and beneficiaries. So 15 Republicans could make sure that happened on short notice, but 22 Democrats couldn't. And they were obviously, that doesn't come up to 50 attorneys general. So there was obviously some Republicans that didn't show up as well, but not one Democrat.
Kind of funny how that
Not one Democrat.
All the Democrats were busy.
Yeah. Covering up for fraudulent activity that is happening in their state.
Right. Let's see. I played that one. My closing video and this video are I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he's talking to Sean Ryan, and he was on the wrong side of life, and now he's a Christ follower now, and this is him talking about how Islam is the Antichrist.
I think Islam is the Antichrist. According to the Hadiths, Muhammad was visited by the angel Gabriel, but for some reason Muhammad is beaten to the ground and squeezed and tortured by this so-called angel. No eyewitnesses to this. He goes back home to his wife Khadijah. She's like, oh, you're a prophet sent from God. And so there we have the birth of Islam. Islam is the Antichrist because if you look at the end times of Islam compared to the end times in Christianity, all the bad stuff for the Christians is like the good stuff for the Muslims. In the end times, we believe in a massive falling away as believers. Well, in Islam, they believe in a mass conversion. The book of Revelation, we read that a beast will rise from the sea. If you take the mark of the beast, you'll be condemned. Some Islamic traditions and writings say that a beast will rise from the sea. And if you take the mark of Allah, you'll be saved. The way that the martyrs were killed in the book of Revelation is through beheading. The number one way you kill people in jihad is through beheading. Why are these similarities here? I don't think Satan's an idiot. He's not a red guy with pitchforks and horns. He's seductive. He's attractive. And the Bible tells us that he can appear as an angel of light.
Interesting take.
Yeah. And the closing video I have is him talking about going to heaven.
I don't know that I think that Islam is the Antichrist, but we have certainly had no shortage of times that we talk about the evils of Islam. And, we obviously don't know who, what. People say AI is the Antichrist. Some people say Donald Trump is the Antichrist. Have you heard that one? And of course,
I was just talking about that today.
And so, but that was a very interesting take and some good information there on what the two different. I don't like to say religion because I don't think Christianity is a religion. It's a way of life. But and I don't like to say Islam is a religion because Islam is evil. But different. The end times from both perspectives. I like that.
Yeah.
Might try to look that guy up and see what else he has to share.
Well, like I said, the closing video, it's 2.5 minutes long, and it's him talking about going to heaven. He very intelligent guy. Very intelligent guy. I can't say I've listened to the entire episode, but what I did listen to is phenomenal, and I'll definitely be going back.
All right.
Yeah. I think it's all.
I think that about does it for tonight. We were kind of long-winded.
A little bit.
Get this. I didn't preach Sunday because we had a band, Fishers of Men at Old Union, and I don't preach this coming Sunday because it's Youth Sunday. I'm going to be out of practice by June.
Well, you can take a break anyways.
I enjoyed, the music was wonderful, and always enjoy Youth Sunday. So
yeah,
we'll be back Saturday, 7 o'clock Eastern, unless something breaks loose.
That's right.
Just don't know what's going to happen in Iran, whether we have to break in and say a deal was made or some massive military operation. Or doesn't have to be Iran. It could be something else as well. Take us out of here, Ronnie.
You keep you covered on that Ukraine deal that we talked about earlier too. So
yes, that's
that's could get spicy there too. So
absolutely.
Thank you everybody for being here. We can't wait to see you again. And until next time, please don't forget to go out and do the right thing.
Like, let me ask you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely certain and 1 being not certain at all, how confident would you be you go to heaven if you were standing before God?
Maybe a 6.
Why is that number? Why is 6?
Because I'm trying to do what I think he wants me to do. I'm trying to treat people that way. It's hard. Life would be a lot easier if I wasn't trying.
But if you say you're a 6, do you believe that Jesus only died for 60% of your junk?
Well, hold on. I'm saying a 6 because I've also done a lot of up things in my life.
That's what I'm talking about. Same here. I totally understand. So because you've done a bunch of messed up stuff, you labeled yourself a 6. Because of the way that you've ranked yourself on that scale, you're basically determining your salvation on everything that you've done. Whereas Jesus would say, it has nothing to do with that. If that's the case, Jesus only died for 60% of your sins because you're a 6 out of 10. The Bible would say that Jesus Christ's sacrifice was sufficient enough for all of Sean's mistakes and all of Bryce's mistakes and all of human history's mistakes, past, present, and future. So think about it like this. Like if we went to Dallas Mavericks game and I had 2 courtside tickets, you win and you walk through and they scan the ticket and you walk down all the way down to courtside and the security guy stops you and says, hey, wait, hold on, wait a second. Where do you think you're going? You say, well, I got tickets. He's going to say, well, why should I let you in? Bryce gave me these tickets. These tickets were a gift. And so that's why I'm able to get in. In the same way, that's how salvation works. Like it is a gift from God. Nothing that we do is going to get us into heaven. The standard for heaven is perfection. It's righteousness. I'll speak on behalf of me. I'm a jacked up human being that's made a load of mistakes. But the fact of the matter is Jesus Christ's death on the cross means that he defeated our sin. He defeated the thing that we can't escape. So if we put our faith and trust in that, it wipes our slate clean as if we've never done anything wrong. The book of Malachi would tell us that God drops our sin in the sea of forgetfulness as if we've never done anything wrong. Paul writes about this in the book of Romans. He says, oh, so now that you've been forgiven, does that mean you should just go and do whatever the crap you want? He goes, absolutely not. The book of Titus tells us that God's grace and his salvation actually fuels us to walk this faith out, put our money where our mouth is. And so we have to change perspective. The idea of faith without works is saying that the works identify whether someone's faith is sincere. The works don't get us into heaven.